Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Sunday Live. What's happening, my brothers and my sisters? This is your brother from another mother, ready to address your questions, all things mental, emotional, and relational health. Do us a favor, click that like button and subscribe. That helps us out a whole lot to tell YouTube and to tell Rumble and to tell Facebook we would like more of these videos. You can also go over to markdejesus.com where you can click on the donate button. You can check out more about what we're about, what I teach, what I spend a lot of time emphasizing, teaching, and being a brother from another mother, because it's all about the healing and freedom journey. In fact, you can get a free book today, right now, a free copy, a free downloadable copy of my book, Experiencing God's Love as Your Father. It is a great place to start, to begin the journey, because everything rests in the love that God has for us. That's how relationship flows. It's also where many of our battlegrounds are feeling disconnected and feeling a sense of separation and disconnection to his love, and how it connects to our hearts, how it connects in our relationships, how we see our world, how we see our circumstances. So I'm such a passionate believer in helping people experience restoration, healing, and freedom in those areas. And if you are too, that's great, because then you can be a help and a blessing to others. We're going to get into your questions today. You can either, if you're here in the live broadcast, you can submit them as a super chat, or you can also go to my website, markdejesus.com/questions, and you can submit them there, and we'll take them into consideration to address in an upcoming broadcast. Keep in mind, though, that when you have submitted a question, do make sure that you look around and do some searching. Look at the topics page. I have a topics page that has access to categorized broadcasts, because many people write to me and say, I'm not sure if you've talked about this. And I'll look at the question and go, we've talked about it numerous times. So you do have to do a little bit of searching and looking, but there's stuff there. We try to tag as much as we can. We try to title things as much as we can. We try to put the wording in there so that you know exactly what we're talking about. And we're not clickbaiters. We won't share something that we don't talk about in the way that we say that we're going to talk about it. So we do our best to try to tell you exactly what we're covering and what we're gonna be addressing. So getting into your questions today, and we have a poll that's coming up. We'll get to that in just a moment. I want to talk about that, but I really need to bring in the woman that makes this all possible, the love of my life, all that I cling to. This broadcast would be absolutely nothing near what it is without her. She means more than this world to me, and ladies and gentlemen, you need to know that's not codependency talking. Ladies and gentlemen, Melissa DeJesus is here and in the house. Give her a round of applause.
Hey, babe.
Give her a round of applause. And the crowd goes wild.
Hi.
Hello, my love.
Hello.
How is your day going so far? I know I can answer part of this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You're so much tanner than I am, by the way.
Oh, it's makeup too.
I have some extra glow up to do here. But I have an opportunity because it's very nice outside today.
Oh, well, that's why it's an amazing day, because you know I love the sun. And
yes. You were made for it.
I really was. If we, who knows in the future where we will end up, but if we could go further south,
you'd be fine with it.
Minus the bugs. The bugs get worse the further south you go.
Mm-hmm. In Georgia, it gets buggy.
So, yeah,
in Florida,
that's where it does get. Even down here, I was not prepared.
Yes.
Everybody gets people that come to their house to do like a round of extermination. You have to be on the regular. Lot of bugs down here.
You needed a
You needed a little bit of a sit down, have a little discussion about what's going on down here.
Yeah.
Sorry, my button wasn't working.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's the thing I wasn't prepared for, but the snakes too. We've talked about the snakes. I wasn't prepared for the snakes. Mm-hmm. Although now Max just handles them like he's a snake wrangler, so I don't worry about them. But you hear the stories, oh, I was mowing the lawn, stepped on a snake and had to go to the hospital and get anti-venom. That's just like a typical thing here.
And here's the key to it. When you get bit by the snake, what are the instructions that they give you?
The snake, so they know which anti-venom to use. And I don't know how we feel about that. Could I just grab the snake? Because if a snake is going to bite you, you're going to shake, wherever you're being bit, right? You're going to shake it off. You want to keep the snake. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can keep the snake. Hopefully Max will be around me.
I don't know anyone whose fight or flight kicking in would make them go, I'm going to move towards that which bit me.
It's crazy. Anyways, but I do love the South. I posted something on my Instagram and Facebook, though. I was going through the Nextdoor app, and a lady had posted that one of her she said, "This is my pet." Her pet chicken got out. And
right.
I was just like, I cannot.
Right.
Her pet chicken.
The
pet chicken got out.
right.
And it just makes me just warm and fuzzy. I like it. I don't know. Something about a pet chicken.
Yeah. It's not uncommon to hear chickens in the neighborhood. And when I go for my walk, I pass by areas.
We hear the rooster. We hear all of the things.
Absolutely.
One day we will probably have some, but
I would feel responsible for the rooster's noise.
I would
have to get over that.
Yeah.
But like, is it bothering anyone? Even if neighbors aren't close or whatever, I'd feel like I'm creating a commotion.
Yeah, we would. We have that northerner person in us. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to bug you. If I bump into you, I'm so sorry. Or you bump into me. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have that thing.
Yeah, that like I want to be a good neighbor.
We do.
Kind of thing.
Because I feel like, too, maybe it will come back to me. Like, if I'm a good neighbor, they'll be a good neighbor.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a poll going on here.
Okay, what's our poll? Let's see.
And I'd love you guys to get your input on this. It's a question about perfectionism. And I'm neck deep in writing my next book. It's on Christian perfectionism. And I've never enjoyed writing a book as much as I've enjoyed writing this one. And so I'm excited about it. Normally it's a lot more pain than gain in the trenches, but it's been great so far. Ask me in a couple months. But anyway, I'm curious because I've been processing a lot of things. I'm curious how the crowd, how the tribe, how perfectionism influences your faith walk. It's many other areas, but I gave 4 main ones. Because the influence of it is just right, but never enough. That's my premise in all perfectionism teaching. Just right, but never enough. I'm curious, does it impact your preoccupation with your salvation? Like, do you have a struggle in your life where you are preoccupied with how you stand before God? Whether you're really saved, whether you lost your salvation, whether it's really true, whether you really believe, whether you really, all around your standing with God. If that's you, then click that one. Or you have a preoccupation focus on your sins, flaws, and mistakes. Things you do throughout the day, your past, your present struggles, your whatever sin issues, strongholds, flaws, goofiness. You spend a lot of time fussing over that. 3 is your spiritual, and a lot of these I had to super abbreviate, so forgive me because they only give you so much room. Spur routines. Your spur.
Your spur.
Go make sure you do your spur. Your spiritual routines need, and I put to be just right. Meaning your prayer life. If you don't pray a certain way in a certain time, if you don't read your Bible this kind of way in this certain time, or church attendance, or things that we typically can have in our routines, communion, all those things need to be like, they're very, very, there's like a vice on it where it's a lot of pressure around it. And then the other is an avoidance issue where you procrastinate. It was interesting. I was having a conversation actually with our daughter the other day, and we were talking about perfectionism, and she was talking about procrastination. And I was explaining to her that that's actually a major part of perfectionism, is that you delay doing things, you avoid doing things.
Which I used to argue with you because you're like, you have perfectionism. And I'm like, I don't. Because I procrastinate so much. And you're like, Missy, it is that way.
Because you perceived perfectionism as being a high achiever.
Yes.
And you're like, I don't perceive myself as a high achiever.
No.
And it's like, no.
And I would argue with you about it.
That's not
until I came to terms.
That's not where. Yeah, it infiltrates a lot of things. So I go through a lot of emotions with this in frustration, and as I watch Christian teachers, it gets frustrating because I hear so much of perfectionism language in a lot of Christian teaching. A lot of the make sure these things are just right. You got to give it all, lay it all down, be all in. And those terms are not bad, but how they're utilized, like even the idolatry thing, how it gets utilized. And so I even this week I was listening to some podcasts where
you got a little frustrated.
I got frustrated.
You did.
I got frustrated because
frustrated.
I get a little bit frustrated.
Frustrated.
Mar. to very, very frustrated.
That's Mark's father for everybody.
Yeah, the frustrated is frustrated.
Oh.
It's like all of a sudden his Spanish accent became Italian. You got a little bit frustrated.
Frustrated.
Hey, andiamo. Years ago, I tried to do I had someone who knew was Italian. I tried to do an intro with an Italian sentence.
You did.
And I said, "How did you think I said it?" He said, "You said it well, but with a Spanish accent." So anyway, get very frustrated.
Sorry, I got us sidetracked. Go ahead.
Because I hate to throw names out there.
Just do it.
I hate to.
I know you don't, but
I'm not that kind of person.
Okay.
I'm not that kind of person. I don't like throwing out names.
I know you don't.
Okay, but Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Tim
Right.
Tebow was doing an interview.
Yes.
And I feel that he has a case of the Christian perfectionism.
He does.
He was talking on a podcast and talking about how he went through times in his football career where he didn't love Jesus enough. And so the other guy's like, yeah, that idolatry came in, huh? And I'm like, there's this thing that we're doing where I don't know if, like, do we need more persecution? Do we need something to, like, I feel like we need something to point to make our to add suffering to our journey. Because here's my perspective.
That's so true.
Here's a guy that I watched. And it was kind of interesting because when he played for, I believe it was the Broncos, if I remember correctly, there was this whole thing they showed about him where they filmed him and they mic'd him. And to Christians, we're kind of like, okay, but the whole time he's playing, he's like, okay, we're going to do red 33. He's going to say, thank you, Jesus, that I can play football here, that I can play football. Okay.
That's all I remember about him.
Yeah, he'd get tackled. Thank you, Lord, that I'm safe and I got a touchdown. The whole time he's having an ongoing conversation with Jesus.
Right.
Okay.
And now we're learning it wasn't enough for him, or he didn't think it was enough, right?
Yes. When are we going to realize this never enough kind of mindset? Never, never, never enough. I get
it's good.
And again, it's not, I hear my heart,
we
people.
loved Tim Tebow. Okay?
Right. And I can put most preachers in context. I get what they're saying, get where they're going. However, I feel like this thing of like, I got to make sure I'm obeying. I got to make sure I'm doing. I got to make sure that I'm on fire. And then we have all these metrics that we're checking,
right?
Because we're a little down. We're not as excited. We're not as, we might be depressed. We might feel a little bit just melancholy or whatever. And we have to constantly diagnose it as something that's an indictment against ourselves, as though we're just not obeying enough. And anyways, I was watching.
And I think too, people feel like they have to feel a feeling. They have to feel that they feel like it's right too. Anyway, you have another story too.
Yeah, because when Jesus was talking about lukewarmness, he actually explained what the lukewarmness was. Now, a lot of people, when they teach on it, don't give context. I gave the context and I taught it in our community last week and walked through it a bit. Because Jesus says, you say you're rich and you have need of nothing. He's actually speaking to like the Pharisaical Christianese person who just goes through the motions and it's like, I'm good. I don't need anything. It's actually the person, in my opinion, who resists heart healing, who resists deeper work of the heart. He goes, I'm good. He's like, you're wretched and naked and miserable. And you don't even admit to it. You don't admit you have a need, right? It's like the people that go, oh, that heart healing. Oh, that's nice, Mark. You work
with those poor brothers and sisters that need that special ministry over there,
right? It's like wait, you don't need it. Like we all need this. We all need heart healing. We all need a deeper sense of grace and the Father's love. We all have issues. We all have struggles. So, I was watching another one. A guy was a musician, and great story. And what he did, and he had left after many, many years. He had left the band that he was playing with, and great conversation, great. But I felt like the brakes all of a sudden, and the emergency brake got pulled. You know, like if you do all that, the car just goes. Because he was talking about the wrestling he was going through in the music industry and how it become something that was like a formality, and it become like something that we'd lost the heart of what worship means and what it means to connect. It's like all these good things. And then he was like, yeah. And I realized that at the end there, until I made the final decision to leave, I was in disobedience. And I went, why does it have to be disobedience?
Right.
Why can't it be that it took you time to realize what was going on and that you needed to move in a new direction?
Yeah, it was time to move on.
So for example, in 2015, in the fall of 2015, we left pastoring. And it was a combination of steps. Not only left pastoring, we closed the church and moved on in a whole new direction towards what we're doing now, right? We both admit that we probably should have closed it and ended 9 months earlier at least.
Yes.
Right at the beginning of the year. But we were like, oh, we'll give it one more try. I could pull the same thing and go, you know what? We were in disobedience and that's why we're miserable. Why can't we see our journey through nuance of recognizing God's faithfulness? And over time, it takes time for us for the light bulb to go on. It takes time for us to see. It's like either you're just like, you're right on track and you're obeying, or you're off and you're disobeying.
So we need to, that's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah, because biblical obedience is more actually about God's ways and how we think and how we react and how we live. We turn it all into Christian obedience that I see perpetuated and taught is direction oriented. You do what God tells you to do.
Right.
In the Old Testament, when people were given a command, there was no discussion over whether it was a command that was given. So when God came to Jonah, there wasn't like, was this a thought? Was this a dream? Did you have a lot of pizza? Was this your own thought? It was absolutely a clear spoken word to him that then he disobeyed, right? So we see that in the scriptures. The Lord spoke. There's no like, nowadays we turn it into, well, I had a feeling and I just didn't feel right, so I'm in disobedience. So now we're saying all those feelings are true, and now you're obeying or disobeying off of them. That's how we're teaching modern Christian obedience.
And if stuff doesn't work out the way you think you were being led to, well, I must not have heard from the God. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know.
And you disobeyed.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah, so I wanted to tell the guy in the story, like, it's not disobedience. You're on your journey, and you learned a lot from it, and it takes time. Like, it took time for me to realize I need to leave institutional pastoring.
Right.
That's a big decision, and I never got a Mark. I didn't get that, Where's my God voice?
Mark, it's time. I have spoken.
I didn't get that. Nor did I get that when I made the decision. It's a coming to a realization. Like, this is what I need to do. And it often takes people a while to do that. And I don't think we give any grace for the journey and give a grace of going, I didn't see it.
Right.
I didn't recognize. People go, I didn't recognize I was in a toxic cult of a church. People say, I didn't know I was in an abusive relationship. I didn't know I was raised by narcissists. I didn't know. It takes you a long time, but we pull the disobedience thing.
Right.
So as you can see, my Puerto Rican side gets up. I get upset because it's like we're creating
people are suffering and it's like self abuse.
Yes, like we need something to throw a dagger in instead of going, this amazing grace I've received and this love I have. I let me continue to walk in it and learn in my journey versus self-condemnation, self-accusing. I missed it. Yeah. And it's very dysfunctional.
It is.
And I wanted to tell Tim, because even in his, I saw another clip where somebody had said to him, do you get upset that people are not as on fire for God as you are? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's a top sign right there of what I'm talking about, of this kind of leaven. It's a hidden law leaven that comes in. It takes Jesus and it adds a bunch of stuff to it and creates these extra burdens. And, we've been we watched the Chosen with the kids, and you see and I've been even, you hear me say it while we're watching it. This is exactly what the Bible said about the Pharisees when he was yelling at them about, you add extra burdens to these people. You put more on them than they need to do.
Such a good scene.
And I think the church should be more about releasing burdens off of people. Anyway.
Exactly.
Anyways, that's my rant for today. But today is the majority, 142 votes, 51% is the focus on sins, flaws, and mistakes. Like you're kind of looking inward And that's very easy to be pulled into.
Yeah.
If we're not taught and rooted and equipped in what love is and grace, because grace is always going to point to his righteousness that we have in him, not on how well I'm performing, which actually is the solution to our freedom from sin.
So good.
So anyway, with that said, are there any questions or comments?
Well, Miguel said, can you ask the church gentleman for me where he got his qualifications for sharing the word of God with the masses? So the church.
Well, brother, I like to keep some of those things private. Although I will say that my training has come from the divine. It's come from the throne of heaven. And I don't believe there are symbols like PhD or any kind of MD, even though Mark is MD, that could even describe the wealth you get from the literal throne and courtrooms of heaven. So, Brother Miguel, that is where I dwell.
And that rhymed.
You shocked me on that one.
So with that said, I need to give an update.
You do need to give an update. So last we were wondering, did the church gentleman and the church lady have a date?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so let's hear the update.
So I asked for an update. She didn't really get back to me. She said, I'll talk to you later. And the church gentleman says he's working through some things.
Okay.
So they did tell me where they went.
Okay.
So the manager at where they went sent me a report of what happened. Yeah. So when I was a youth pastor, I remember years. Oh boy! I remember years ago when I was a youth pastor, the youth group got. It was a non-sanctioned church event. It just happened to be a bunch of young people from our youth group, and then some. Well, I had left, and things got out of hand, and everyone got kicked out, and so they told our church is no longer allowed to go to Chili's.
That is so embarrassing.
Humiliating. So I went back and I had to talk to the guy and say, listen, there was a bunch of extra people. There was a few people, some of the youth workers were there with me, a few people. All the others, they were not with us. I think that parents or people just sent them out and didn't know what was going on. And I had left, and after I had left, it had gotten even more out of hand. So I had to apologize, and I wrote a letter to all the parents in the church. Please make sure you know who your children are going with. If they go out just because they're going to Chili's doesn't mean that.
Which, let me just say too, and I've waitressed for many, many years, and I actually love it. And if my arthritis didn't hurt, I would probably still do it as a side job. Mm-hmm. However, when you see a church group, you're like, I don't really want to wait on them.
Yeah, you get no tip, or you get like a.
I went out with my sister and my mother not that long ago, a couple months back, and we went into just a local restaurant, and there was a huge church group in there, and it was the most obnoxious.
Right.
They were over the top.
Yeah.
And I was like, didn't know they were a church group yet. And then they had to do the big out loud praying. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. They had to be asked multiple times. Can you please just tone it down and stop?
Well, unfortunately, these two didn't do much better.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so.
Oh, no.
So the manager at Applebee's sent me they decided to meet at Applebee's. And
okay, that's a good church restaurant. Or that's a typical, right, after church.
It wasn't for me. Chili's was.
That's true.
Chili's, baby back ribs. Yeah, that was. It depends where you live, what's around you. Friendly's is a common one.
Is Friendly's even around anymore?
Kind of, not really.
My gosh, I used to love Friendly's. Their hot fudge was the best.
Put in the comments where if you went to church on Sunday night.
Where'd you go after you ate? Where did you eat after church?
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways.
Okay. Sorry, I won't interrupt.
So I got the report here, and the manager reports the church lady came in very loud, and she started immediately. Immediately, she started. What's the person? The
hostess.
The hostess. Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
Immediately, she started critiquing the hostess' appearance and the quote
worldliness
of the music that was playing. She was very very loud and drawing attention, and they have her on the recording camera yelling out,
"Can we please have some Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir up in here?" And why is this woman dressed like she's going to the club?
So that's how things started off. Not a good, not a good thing. Now, just as she was yelling that, the church gentleman apparently came in, and they got past their initial greetings. And in his typical tone, he said,
"Now, sister, let's just be reminded today we're here for some fellowship. Though I must say, bless her heart, the way that young lady is dressed, it does make me wonder if she's ever taken the time to peruse through the instructions found in the book of Timothy. I'm just a little bit concerned about the quality of her biblical standing."
So anyways, well, his opinion coming across to her offended the church lady.
I said the rebuke first, okay? You don't jump into my rebuke when I bring up the hostess's appearance. You don't jump into what I'm saying. You need to honor my unction. My unction was first. I went first. I had dibs on unction. Do you respect dibs on unction?
So
Respecting dibs. I can't.
So the manager comes over, and says, "Sir and ma'am, your server that you're being critical about, she's simply wearing the uniform that all our employees here wear." And so the only thing she could give was a
My bad.
So apparently the uniform, there's a uniform that they wear at this Applebee's. Apparently it's too inappropriate for the church lady and the church gentleman. So apparently the manager said that when the food arrived, the church lady sent her food back twice, apparently exclaiming that the food was unclean. She didn't realize there was just too much seasoning, and that's what was going on. So again, she snaps back with it.
Hey, my bad. I had a trigger from an intrusive thought, where somebody back in the day, I was in a McDonald's drive-through, and I had to rebuke the woman that was handing me my double cheeseburger because she was wearing lipstick on the Lord's Day, and I had to set her straight. So then she said, "Excuse me, hold on, let me get the lipstick off." She turned and hid a spit into my burger and handed it to me. So I was a little traumatized. So when I was ordering my food, and yeah, when I got the baby back ribs, I thought that that baby back there was spitting on my baby. my baby. on my baby back ribs. I know that's a lot of baby and back and stuff in that. So, but anyways, I'm just saying what happened.
So meanwhile, the church gentleman, under his breath, but they were able to pick it up on the mic, he just started saying,
Well, I'm just so grateful for what the Lord provides. Like some folks who might struggle with a critical Jezebelic spirit. Not naming names, of course. Not naming names.
Of course, this did not sit well with the church lady.
Who are you calling, Ahab? Who are you calling Jezebel? Mr. Ahab? I'll get your Ahab right here straightened out. If you don't zip it, I'm going to tell you right now.
So anyways, this escalated. The church lady accuses him of being judgmental. The church gentleman tries to calm her down, even though he's got still somewhat of a syrupy tone in how he talks.
"Oh, my dear, I would never judge. That's just between you and Jesus. And apparently by the volume of your voice, half of this Applebee's staff that's going on here."
So anyways, they attempt to recover, and very soon it's time to order dessert. And the manager's puzzled because he's looking at them, and they both, the church lady and the church gentleman, both feel very strongly that they should pray again over the dessert.
Because that's what a true believer would do. Melissa, that's what a true believer would do. I mean, if you're on fire, you pray for each course as they arrive. It's only appropriate.
Instead, the church gentleman tries to be an initiator, and he launches into, instead of praying, he launches into a passive-aggressive kind of diatribe here, disguised as intercession.
"Dear Heavenly Father, with all of your heavenly mercy, we just thank you for this beautiful cheesecake. And Lord, we thank you for my dear sister who has such zeal, even though she spent the last 45 minutes telling our waitress she was going to hell because she had a nose ring. Father, you know her heart. You know her very well, and I hope you really know her heart right now. And you know what I'm telling you. You know what I'm telling you is true. That critical spirit that she just can't seem to shake.
Excuse me. I heard that prayer. This is not an intercession. This is not about the cheesecake, although it is good, and I'm sneaking some while you're praying, by the way. I'm about to choke on the strawberries in this cheesecake, about to toss it at you. If you can start going off on me about...
So it went on and on and on. And of course, the church gentleman was like,
Lord, we just thank you for her tongue, but we know that her sharp tongue has been in operation, even telling the hostess her hair was an abomination to the Lord. We ask that you soften it, Father, and quite frankly, could you put a divine muzzle on it?
Oh, no.
I never said any of that.
And Father, we lift up her pride, that deep pride that makes her correct the manager's theology when all he said was just enjoy your meal. Lord, help understand that not every moment requires a rebuke or a 30-minute speech about someone's eternal destination.
Are you praying for the cheesecake, or are you attacking a divine prophetess? Tell me one or the other.
Well, sister, I'm just trying to bring your needs before the Lord. I thought you appreciated direct truth.
well, anyways, she couldn't handle it anymore. And apparently from the report, which if it got any more, it would have ended up being a police report. But eventually from the report, she stormed out. She says,
That's rough.
That's it. I'm out of here. I'm finding my way out of here.
there's a problem, is that she took an Uber to the Applebee's. So she had to very sheepishly come back in and try to patch things up with the church gentleman. She said,
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to say I'm sorry, because otherwise I have no ride home. I'm going to need help getting to my home, because today I just, on my way here, I forgot that I got banned from Uber because of my behavior. And that now adds to the list. I've also been banned from Lyft, from taxis, as well from the municipal city bus. I'm also banned from that service, as well as any extended family refuses to drive me anywhere. So I think I'm gonna need a ride home. Can you hook us sister up here,
please? So we're not sure if they're going to get together again.
Okay.
They're cooling off, but however, the manager has told me that they are banned from returning to Applebee's.
I cannot. Dude. Oh my gosh.
You all wanted it. That is
awesome.
From the source. And by the way, TMZ confirmed that. So they said,
oh, amazing.
yeah, amazing.
Absolutely. And quite frankly, how I would picture it.
Well, Miss Alyssa, we're gonna need one of those, how you call them, counseling meetings.
Oh, okay.
To work out these issues.
We'll try to help. Oh my gosh.
All right. With
Dude.
all that said,
Dude,
we're supposed to do questions at some point.
we are.
Go ahead and
Do you want
greet.
me to say hi so you can get a little break?
Go ahead and greet everyone,
All
and then
right.
we'll get to it.
Okay, let me start on Facebook. Hello, everybody watching on Facebook. Looks like it's catching on a bit. So let's see. I have Noe, Julia, Linda, Cassandra, and Stacy. Hello, and everybody else watching. Rumble. Hello, Rumble. Courtney Laws. Hello. They have 1.5 inches up in the Northeast of snow. No, thank you, ma'am. Yo, it's Spencer. Hello, Spencer. Hello, Mr. Janata. How are you, sir? Okay, let's go over to YouTube. All right, we had a bunch of people. Hold on one second. That joined the Heart Healing Overcomer. Well, welcome, Lee T. Jean. Hello. Hello, Virginia McBride. Shelby McAllister. Hello. And Mimi. My Mimi. Hello, my dear. Welcome to the Heart Healing Overcomer crew. All right, let me go back here. Let me get rid of that poll. Let's see how far it let me go up. Okay, it didn't let me go all the way up, so we'll try, everybody. Okay, hello, McAllen, Foster, Amelia, hello. Hi, Tony. Miss B! Hello, Miss B. I need my glasses. Oh, this is not good, everybody. Oh, snap. Okay. Oh, I can see. EJH, hello. Marty, hello. Lindsey Graham, welcome. Miguel, hello, sir. Owen, Kesha, hello, my dear. Valerie, Lenny, helping me out being the best mod that she is. Emma, hello. Judy, Kenzie, my lovely, lovely Estelle. Hi, Estelle, honey. How are you? We just love you. Amelia, Nelila, Rose, hello. Valerie, let's see. Did I say Marty already? Salvadorian, Doran Orthodoxy, hello. Sue Horn, D Balloons, Karen, Quake, hello. All right, I'm going to swoop down to the bottom. Okay, hi, Jesus is Lord. Hey, it's Rachel. Hey, True Narnian, hello. Tan Man ASMR, hello. Ellie, Sarah Joy, what else? Kid, Super Caregiver. What was that? Kid Ron. Listen. Luke Berganza.
You got a lot of names there.
I know, so many. It's awesome. Abby, hi. Okay, listen, everybody. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Maura. Listen. Thank you for joining us. And if I missed you, I'm sorry I missed you. And welcome. We're just so
Right
happy
on.
to have you here.
Right on. And the
I tried my best.
You did great. And the church lady brings her greetings as well too, although she's in recovery. And
Yeah, Mimi said that she was really pulling for them for it to work out. So.
Yeah.
Well, you can just tell Mimi, I'll have you singing me, and quite a few when I tell you what you need to hear.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, I should just start a business where I insult people in the church lady voice.
That would be awesome. Hey, maybe we could make some money off it. People can pay you like $10 a pop. Hey, can you call like the church lady or the church gentleman, whichever you prefer.
The whole business venture, right?
Oh my goodness. I love it.
All right, folks.
Okay, we're here. Let's do this.
I'm going to get into some questions here. I got a young man here who's asking, I've talked about this, but it's a good topic to revisit because many people have creative passions. You like to write, play music, sing, act, do video work, or even you like areas of playing video games. There's a lot of passions people have, and many have a desire to do it as work. And this brother, like many of us, has fear and doubt along the way, and I want to kind of speak to it. Hi, Mark. I first want to thank you for your incredible support, for always helping others. Your input is truly a blessing to me. I'll keep my story short. I've worked many different jobs in my life, from banker to earning a master's degree and later becoming a teacher. I wonder what your master's was in. Was it in for teaching? I've always sung and started to write songs with my brother when we were 16. We actually became quite successful with it. Still, I kept music on the side, probably because being a musician is seen as a risky career, even though it always made me happy. Deep down, I think what I always wanted to do, but I was afraid of what my parents, especially my dad, what he would think of that decision. Okay, let me just share a couple things. One is your creative expression and your talent in music, is great that you have that and you have a passion for it. It's very, very common for parents to, when they look at their kids when they're launching out, to look and go, you're making stable choices financially. That is very normal. It's not bad that they're going to do that. But that's a natural part of life, because if you, like, for example, if you graduate high school and you kind of go, I'm going to start a singing career. Most creatives don't realize how hard it is to actually make money doing what you're doing, right? That they think that they're just going to put their stuff online and everyone's just going to come to it, and they don't realize the world is very tough, very challenging. And you'll go through a lot of obstacles. You'll go through a lot of resistance. That's one of the things we're not prepared for, because there is availability for you to enter into just about almost any arena. You don't have to go get a contract with somebody to make a movie. You could just make a movie and put it on YouTube. You don't have to go find a publisher. You can write a book and publish it yourself. Do you all know that's what I do? I self-publish all of my books and love doing it. Would I be opposed to a publisher working with me? No, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I actually like the system that I work in and how I go about it. There's so many benefits to it, but it's also very, very hard. And people think, oh, you can just put a book out there, click sell, and everyone's going to come to it. Start a website, people are going to come. You want to get into acting, it's just going to happen. No, it's actually, the reason it's risky is because there's many people that go into it, but it's a very narrow scope of those who can actually do it and make a living off of it. So it's important that we get that sober understanding because the access is so much bigger now. So your entry point is large, but the aspect of being able to stay the game, it gets more and more narrow. So for example, 20 years ago when I first started writing, I knew a lot of people that were writing over the years. I'm going to write a book, I'm going to this and that. And over the years, many of those people just disappeared for whatever reason. And a lot of times I think that people step in and it fizzles out because it reveals it may not just have been your thing, or maybe you weren't prepared to have the tenacity to it. Because creative art expression of any kind, writing, music, any kind, if you want a podcast, if you want to paintings, or the list goes on and on, that you want to do to be able to make a living. Even people write to me about video games. You can even make a living being a gamer. People love watching other people play video games. When that first came on the scene, I was so blown away. I was like, let me get this straight. I'd ask these young guys, you like just watching another guy playing a video game that you can play? And they helped me to realize it, that no, it's the skill that they have. And I know what they're actually, why they're skilled and what makes them unique. And so they get monetized online, whether it's on YouTube or was it Twitch or some of the other ones that are out there as well too. So yes, you could click a button now and do it, but it can deceive us to think, oh, it's easy. No, it's not. It's a journey. You got to stick with it. I'm still way in my journey of learning and growing as a writer, learning and growing as a communicator, even with my YouTube videos. This has been a long, long time of just week in and week out. Just a lot of it was just me just staying in it, whether anyone watched it or not, because I wanted to do this. And if I lost everything, I would probably, if I still had my phone, I would probably just make videos with my phone and just do that. So with that said, you said your parents, since my recent job as a teacher didn't quite fulfill me, I made a decision to fully commit to music and self-employment, to finally follow my dreams. I talked to my father about it, but I felt more rejection than support. And again, it's understandable that a father would be hesitant. You get this well-paying job, even though you weren't happy, and you make this leap into an unknown, maybe without some traction. I don't know if you've had traction in that area. You say to this, he probably never really saw me in my role of a songwriter or musician. To this day, I still struggle with fear and doubt about whether I made the right decision and if I'm truly on the right path. I enjoy what I do, but the fears and doubts sometimes hit harder than ever. My response to that is welcome to the journey, because that's normal. It's absolutely normal. Now, there are times where you step into it. Your parents don't necessarily see it. You're grown adults. You're out of their care. You've left father and mother. Now you're making your own decisions. Christians have to be aware that just because you hit resistance doesn't mean you're not on a good path. We have this equation we created that if things aren't working out, it means God's not in it. If things aren't working out, it means God's not in it. That's what many people believe. And if God's in it, it will work out perfectly successfully. That doesn't even work biblically, because prophets said exactly what God told them to say and no one listened. Jesus said powerful things and his crowd shrunk. So that equation has a lot of holes in it, and it leaves people with improper expectations. I'll get into my recommendation in just a second. So stepping into like a self-employed or a self-started kind of journey, you are pushed into a world where you have to learn how to relate to yourself like never before. So for 20 years now, I've never had, although I shouldn't say that because I had to work other jobs along the way. But in doing this work that I'm doing now, I had no one calling me up going, hey, here are your hours. I had no one checking up on me, no one giving a performance review or anything like that. It's just me and me. So I got to wake up, show up. I got to deal with the inner critic. I got to face the insecurities. I got to deal with the perfectionism that has to be everything just right. And the perfectionism that makes me procrastinate, forget it and put it off. I don't want to do it. And then do something and you're spinning about it. This is stupid, dumb. No one wants to listen to it. This book is terrible. And going through all that. There's a lot that comes about in that journey where you make mistakes or you do things where you need improvement. I'm sure I could look at my earliest videos if I went back and listened to them all and go, isn't that cute? But it's like, that was, you have to keep practicing, and I'll feel the same maybe 10 years from now looking at these videos. You have to keep practicing, and you learn in the practicing. But you really enjoy what you do. And so that's really awesome. Anyway, a little bit about your background. My parents separated when I was 6. My father did the best to be there for us, but he didn't live with us anymore. We saw each other roughly every 2 weeks for the weekend. So I think that's the fact that he wasn't there, because a father helps build the confidence. A big thing that I try to be in my family is celebrate my kids in attempts of facing their insecurities and their fears. I really try to be a presence in that, and not to celebrate attempt versus the focus on was it just right or not. I believe wholeheartedly that's a father's job, which I think is part of the reason why so many people struggle with insecurity and stepping out into expressing their teaching, their speaking, their art or their talent or whatever it is, because it's a jungle out there of rejection. It's a jungle out there of criticism, I mean, go post something, put a video out there and see what people do. You get some nice stuff. You also get some rough stuff, really rough stuff. And it's a father's compass that helps us to build that. And so that's why many of us are in a journey of learning the father's connection and learning through practice. So in that, I say to those of you that you have this passion of something you want to do, here's the formula that I give people. I don't necessarily give them the formula of what I did. I don't give my script to people. It was tough, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But when you have this kind of passion, my first thing is don't quit your 9-to-5 job right away. If you have a 9-to-5 job, keep that. It pays the bills, but you're not as happy. You're a bit miserable. Okay, but it's for a season. Stay in that. So what I encourage you to do during that time is take the thing that you want to do and make it your hobby. In other words, you do it for free. I mean, if you can get paid for it right away, that's great. I mean, don't say no to payment for your work. But if you have to do it for free, do it for free. Like if you're a musician and nobody knows you, you find a place where you just do it for free, or something to just get going, get your foot in the door, get opportunities kind of things going, right? And so for me, the stage of writing came out because I didn't plan 20 years ago to be a writer. I stumbled into it. I just made a pamphlet. And then I moved into writing a book, I Will Not Fear, the first edition. And then that became something that I want to do more of this. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. But that season where it was more like, it was kind of here on the side, because I was doing teaching, one-on-ones, that kind of stuff. I was more like wanting to speak in churches and do conferences and stuff like that, record materials. And then I'm like, I think this book thing is there. I wasn't a passionate writer growing up at all. I hated writing. But a delight of writing started to form. So then that time though, where we were broke, my wife was pregnant with our son, Max. We're going through very difficult times. It tested me, but in those times, like if I got a spare moment, I would sit there at my laptop in the dark, if it was late at night or something. And I was like, let me get this idea down. I want to write this down. Those seasons are where it gets formed in you. Do you really want to do this? Is this really in you? Because it's in that the hobby dies out or it keeps going. Then over time, the next stage is the hobby is now interfering with your 9-to-5. So I remember I was working for a guy who was, he would paint jet airplanes. And it was a really cool, kind of a cool job. I worked with him. Very, very meticulous kind of work. You had to be right on point because there were these multi-million-dollar planes. Warren Buffett's planes, Tyler Perry's plane, Tommy Hilfiger's plane. I got to like walk in their jets, like, oh, that's cool. But I was there to work because this gentleman did, he would do repair paint work. And these things are like glorified Ferrari Lamborghinis. They're very meticulous on how their planes look. Now, when they come landing in, and the door comes down, the presentation's a big deal. Anyways, it costs a lot of money just to paint an area. So it was very meticulous. We'd have to spend a whole day just creating a booth around the area. Then we had to learn sanding, very meticulous, where I had to learn all this. Because if you sanded too hard, you would grind into the paint past the primer, and there's this like mesh, a wire mesh that's built into the panel of the plane to help if lightning strikes the plane. And if you sand it and you went, it would go right into it and break that mesh and create more damage. And you're talking about these parts are like thousands of dollars just for a little part. They'd come in with a little plate and they're like, yeah, this was $800. This little thing was like $10,000. Anyways, I remember one day where this collision happened because I was working on teaching material and stuff like that. And during my breaks, I would take a lunch break and I'd go sit in my laptop and work on it. And the other guy would take a smoking break. And I go, if he takes a smoking break, I'm going to go take a smoking break and just not smoke. And I'm just going to work on my book. Well, anyways, one day we were working on a really tough project, but I had this idea in my head I needed to get on paper. And I was just so passionate about it. And so I had to help him. He's in the booth and I'd have to check on him, make sure on some things. And I left him hanging for a minute because I went over and I was writing down some ideas and working. I thought maybe he won't need me. And he got upset, and rightfully so. And he yelled at me and all that. And it actually didn't hurt my feelings. I was like, you're right. You're right. And it dawned on me, I need to step into this. I need to step into what I feel called to do. Happened another time too, but for the sake of time, I'll share the other story another time. But it's moments like that where you realize I need to step into this. It's still a big risk though, stepping into that. Now there's a guy named Matt Tommy. If you go look him up, he does very, very specific work in helping to equip Christians. Matt Tommy, T-O-M-M-E-Y? T-O-M-M-E-Y? Yeah. And look him up. I've done interviews with him. We have great interactions. Anyway, he specifically equips artists in that area to help your mindset, because it's a mindset issue when you step out in there and you want to express, because all your insecurities, all your fears, all your doubts come up. And I got them like this. I'm working a 9 to 5 over here. I can push all that stuff away. I got somebody else just telling me what to do. When you work on your own, it's a whole different world. Or the hobby dies and you go, okay, it was a nice little thing there, right? Where you realize, okay, that was not the thing that I was really gonna break forward into. But you going back to your father's issues, a lot of us have to face our father's issues as we step out into new territory. Getting married, having children, buying a house, getting a job. All those things are helped or hindered by what you got or didn't get from your father growing up. The father sets the template of confidence in your life because he's the one that tells you you're loved, tells you who you are, and tells you you have what it takes. That voice is there. It's his presence at the baseball game. It's his presence at the ballet. That where you get that sense of confidence to then pursue the thing. That it doesn't mean you won't have it. You're still going to have those struggles, but you have something to draw from. And so that's the journey that you're on. So my feedback to you is, as you're walking through this, first of all, everything you're sharing is normal for the journey, but just know every day you're going to have to be your own boss. You'll have to learn in the process what's going to work for you. You take advantage of opportunities. And keep me posted along the way. So anyway, hope that was a help. The next series of questions is going to get into. I get a lot of marriage questions, and I'll do my best to give. Some of it's going to be repeat things I've said before, but again, these are things that we need to talk about more and more. And it's interesting because, in my opinion, when I do stuff on marriage, it doesn't track as much as far as like people like viewing them and so forth. But at the same time, I get a lot of questions about marriage. So it is a weird dynamic. I'm just sharing, just thinking out loud right now, sharing you a little bit of in my inside world, that it's an interesting dilemma. I get a lot of questions about marriage, but not necessarily a lot of like where people are, going to those. So maybe that'll change over time. But anyways, this one is got some intense battles in it. Brother writes, I sincerely want to thank you for the work that you do. Your material has quite literally saved my sanity. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I've had struggles in almost every topic you've covered. I'm a Marine Corps veteran with combat PTSD and have a lot of childhood trauma and family brokenness. You name it, I experienced it. Every kind of abuse, sexual, verbal, emotional, physical, from different sources. I witnessed a lot of conflict in my home between my parents and my alcoholic father. Addiction ran rampant throughout my extended family, and that just scratches the surface. When I separated from the military in June, now I'm curious, going to the military, I'm just curious, was there a sense in going into the military of, my goodness, I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this and find some sense of stability or some sense of certainty, because the military can provide a sense of discipline, a sense of certainty, a sense of structure,
sense of family,
a sense of brotherhood. A lot of those kind of things are big time motivators. So he said, when you separate, I'm assuming leaving from the military in June of last year, I also got married at the time. That's when everything started to rear its ugly head and started to impact me at once. And I've only spiraled during the course of our marriage. There's a lot of things in here already that you're expressing. First of all, I think that the United States military has an amazing way of training and producing material to get people brought in to all the military training that's needed to get in the mindset to prepare for war, the sense of order, the sense of structure. Absolutely amazing. I've read through a lot of the documentation of like the Army training manuals and, the big booklets and reading and procedures. It is so well thought out, so well structured, so well done. With all that said, we struggle so badly in helping military veterans to be able to transition back into civilian life. It has for a long time. It has been a really, really big problem. And I could name some things that I think would be very, very helpful. I think a lot of attention needs to be given to it. And I know there is more and more. We've had more and more awareness about it. But on one hand, it's like amazing the training that's there and what's done, but the transition out. To go from being trained to know what to do in a situation where even to the point of you having to kill someone or being in a situation where someone else is injured or being in very life-threatening circumstances, to then now going and being tender with your wife and with your children and just sleep normally and just now go to your job 9 to 5. It's there's so many factors to it that are very, very difficult. So there's a lot of transitions here in what you're sharing. Leaving the military and getting married. Those are two big, big transitions. You also have an abusive childhood upbringing. You also have addictions in your household. So it's like a swirl of all these reparenting areas that it makes me, think of all the recovery work of adult children of alcoholics, that the deep reparenting work that's needed. But you hit this big transition that's now going to swirl these battles that you're talking about here. It all came to a head about 2 months ago when I had a severe psychological breakdown dealing with ROCD and the unpardonable sin that hospitalized me. I do find it is common that many OCDers have addictions in their family line. And with addictions comes the lack of healthy parenting and all those kinds of things too. And many families can have addictions that are super hidden too. Dad has a secret sexual addiction that he keeps hidden. And so the kid doesn't grow up knowing it, but it's there. And so it impacts the home. So this heavy transition hit. So it is interesting. Someone with obsessive compulsiveness, you put them in the military. It is interesting how that makeup could then, as you're coming out, you could have extensive obsessive compulsive battlegrounds. So it hits you in your walk with God, and you're standing with God, and it hits you at your wife. So I don't know what it is. You're nitpicking her looks, your attraction to her, whether you should have married her or not, whether you're compatible, whether she's the one for you or not. The list is on and on. It's going to be very important for you because you had what you call a breakdown. It's like everything from your childhood and from your life came to a head. And I get the impression from what you're writing, you're a good soldier and you've always been a good soldier. Write to me and tell me if I'm wrong. But before you went into the military, I think you were a good soldier in the sense that you cope with your upbringing. Like, doggone, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to follow the rules and make sure I do the right thing. And so the brewing of OCD, I bet, was in the making in your childhood and teenage years as a response to trauma. People with OCD don't automatically have trauma, but OCD can be a massive response to trauma. This is the way I'm going to feel safe, and it's the way I'm going to be in control by making sure I get these subjects solved in my life. So my wife has been impossibly strong despite the circumstances, but has suffered immensely. I bet, because I bet you had some intensity with how you related to your obsessions, whether you married the right one or having a panic that maybe you married the wrong person or fussing over her flaws or whatever. When those tapes play over and over and over again, if we don't have proper teaching, we start feeding them, we spin with them, we can have breakdowns. And it's taken a toll on her. Right. And I think that our OCDers need a sober moment because they're so used to spinning about the other person. They need a sober moment to go, okay, what I'm doing with this is taking a toll on the other person. And I need to sober up because I can be now a vessel of help and healthy living. I can do something about this in a good way of like learning how to relate in renewed patterns. It's taken a toll on her mental health, just trying to hold me together and help me through all these battlegrounds. All of this has caused us trauma in our marriage as well. But thanks to your material, I've been able to work through a lot of these issues, and it's given me so much hope. But my healing journey is just starting. I also know that I'm not the only one that needs healing. I want to know if you have any advice on how I can help my wife heal and help us recover. Yeah, the first step is sobriety. And sobriety says this: I'm not going to drown in the fact that I took a toll on my wife, because that's not going to help you. If you go into I'm a terrible husband and I'm just miserable, I need to kind of sober you up. No, get out of that. Get out of that. No, I've done so much damage. Stop. Get over here. I'm also not going to get you in a place of, I've been through a lot and you don't understand, and that kind of denial defensiveness. No, we're going to learn how to see this for what it is. You have grown up with hell, and you've gone through some hell, and it took a toll on your wife who loves you. Soberly recognize your battleground has impacted her. Soberly appreciate the love she has for you. Treasure it. Don't be needy about it. Don't pull on her all day for reassurance, but treasure the fact that she has loved you through this. And what you're going to need, though, is you're going to need OCD-related protocols. And you don't need to tell her you're going to be better. Show her over time. That's how spouses help bring fruitful healing in their home. It's not just talking about it, showing it. Because in this case, talk is cheap. Showing it and demonstrating it, because then over time, her nervous system can slowly start to go, okay, I think the coast is clear. That takes time, though. That takes time to land. But the good news is I believe you can do it. I believe you can step into it. I believe you can take the steps that are needed in that. So keep walking. You said you're early in the stages. Keep reading the book. Get a copy of the OCD Healing Journey, and dive into the myth of the perfect one. And if you want some further help, you can consider joining the Healing and Freedom community as well too, because I do live coaching there and take questions there and the course material. And I'm in the middle of teaching the myth of the perfect one right now. So pray that as a help and blessing. This question, it's another kind of down the same line. This is now a wife talking about her husband. My husband was diagnosed with scrupulosity about 15 years ago. He had very classic symptoms with debilitating anxiety attacks. About 10 years ago, he had what he would describe as a spiritual breakthrough. He claims that he was miraculously healed of his OCD. Yeah, that's right there. The alarm goes off. Not an alarm, more like a flag kind of thing. It's a mark flag. Any language of, I was completely healed from a mental health illness yesterday, I'm concerned about. Anyone who talks like that. One, it's not sober. Two, it's ignorant of how mental health works. Because you can have battles that go through waves and seasons where you're doing great. And then all of a sudden, and this is what Christians do. Christians will go, it's gone and now it's back. And then we get into like demonic language, the demon left and now the demon's back. And they don't realize, no, this takes waves and a journey of working through healing. So already at the top, that kind of mindset concerns me, and it's a lot. And it's going to take time for the church to kind of level that mindset out, because we love that. I was healed yesterday of OCD. Hallelujah. Yes. And instead of like, I feel like I had some clarity in my mind, and I'm going to keep walking it. And we'll see how this next year or two goes. And I'll keep walking it. Right? Mark, you're living in unbelief. Okay, that's fine. No, I'm tired of faking it. I'm tired of everyone faking it out there and then drowning in depression because they lost their healing. It's making people ill over that kind of mentality. Anyway, and it proves my point here, because it says his anxiety attacks have subsided significantly. He does not question his salvation. Okay, that's great. However, he has become more and more obsessed with doing God's exact will. Yeah, that's not the miraculous healing. Even though I push people away from like trying to put that kind of terminology on it. Yeah, it just shifted. And many people with an OCD theme, they feel like they get victory over the theme, and then they're like, it's back, it's over here. It's like it just shifted. So the good news is that when you have a theme and you get breakthrough and another one comes up, you know what that is? It's a good signal to go, you need to learn how to deal with obsessive compulsiveness when it comes to life. You see, I thought if I just got rid of the ROCD, if I could just work through this thing, get married to Melissa and have a nice life, God, it would be amazing. But then I just saw all these other patterns everywhere else in my life. And I realized, it just happened to be that one because that one had the microphone. Then when it dropped the microphone, another one picked it up. The pattern's still there. So that's where we have to sober up and start going, okay, I got to learn now how to deal with how OCD affects my life. Because people will come to me with their theme. And as I watch them, I'm like, yeah, you're OCD about that over there too. You're OCD over this over here too. Right? Like some people will go, I have a cleanliness OCD, but it doesn't affect my walk with God. And I go, okay. And then as I get to know their walk with God, I'm like, dude, the O and the C and the D are everywhere. Okay. He's also convinced that he discerns God's will and I don't. Now, okay, now he's dangerous. Now he's going to be harmful to you. Because now he's obsessed with God's will in a perfectionistic way. He's going to then turn and look at others who don't have his just rightness and now accuse them of having a lower level of spirituality. It's like the Tim Tebow thing I talked about. This is causing increasing turmoil in our marriage. I see a lot of signs that he's still dealing with ROCD. Okay, so he spins about you, but he is very offended if I bring it up. Yeah, he's still in the defense stage. That just confirms to him that I'm not discerning things spiritually, and we are unequal. I think you mean unequally yoked. You wrote unequivocally yoked. Either way, unequally yoked, I think is what you mean. So he's looking down at you. You don't discern the way I do. Meanwhile, he's in a constant spin cycle, and now he's determined you're unequally yoked. We've been married for 22 years. I've read that you can't really confront someone or convince them they have OCD. I don't know that that's 100% true, that you can't confront them. I was told I had obsessive compulsive tendencies by a handful of people. It wasn't until later, though, in my journey. I didn't have therapists in the beginning tell me. But anyway, we're not talking about therapist situation here, but even like everyday people I don't know that you can't tell an OCDer what is difficult for an OCDer is they defend their distortions. So your husband is following distortions, but he's defending them. And that's where life gets very concerning in mental health. It gets concerning with OCD. It gets concerning in anxiety. If someone's in perpetual anxiety and you try to have a conversation about what they're spinning about and they're defending their fears. No, you don't understand. This is real fear, Mark. That's what people write to me. They go, oh, my bad. There's fake fear? Oh, that's fake fear. This is real fear. No, Mark, this isn't OCD. This is legitimate. Mark, is this a real thought or an OCD thought, right? Right there, that setup shows the self-deception. It shows the mechanisms we go into. We defend. I could go even into other scenarios of even like extreme scenarios that you can get into, like even paranoid schizophrenia, where the paranoid schizophrenia, which some OCDers are like, maybe that's me, maybe I have paranoid schizophrenia. But they have delusions, a delusional reality that they feel is being directed at them, spoken to them, or given to them, which then creates paranoia. They have a paranoia, like, oh my goodness, they're out to get me. People are out to kill me. I've had people tell me, Mark, do you see that? See what just happened? What? Those people, they're out to get me. Who? I've had that kind of interaction. Paranoid schizophrenia is not multiple personalities. Many people think that's what it is. No, it's a sense of distorted reality, and very challenging working with paranoid schizophrenia. I know I'm taking rabbit trails here because they defend their paranoia. No, they're out to get us. The Martians are out to get us. The people out to get. There's a lot of times there's a sense of something's out to get them, right? Back to OCD, scrupulosity, the sense is like, no, this is the word of God. I am defending truth. I'm doing what's right. And meanwhile, they're getting the feedback of, hey, man, like the way that you're coming across, because what you're bringing to him is the fruit. And the fruit is he's not showing the fruit of the Spirit. He's not even loving you properly by the way he's talking to you. So anyways, you say all that with saying, you can't really confront them. It's not that you can't, it's just hard to, because they'll defend it. So what do I do? Do I need to separate from him so we can see how serious the problem is? Folks, you can't write into somebody saying, should I separate from my spouse? That's a very, very difficult decision. Takes a lot of like counsel and, working through. That's not something I can answer. But there are situations where it needs to happen. But you said, do I need to separate from him so you can see how serious the problem is? That's a decision you're going to have to make. What I can tell you is this is, I've pointed out the issues at hand here that you're dealing with that are very concerning. Maybe I'm also putting pressure on myself to do the just right thing and not make things worse for him. Yes, that can very much be part of the game here. Do you have any support groups for spouses with someone with OCD? We have a healing and freedom community, but the thing about this, let me just kind of speak bluntly about this. There's a lot of toxic marriages that are abusive in a variety of ways, where the spouse, and a lot, not always, but a lot of times it's the female that needs to make a step. It's sad. It's sad, but it's unsafe. It's ungodly. It's abusive, et cetera, et cetera. The problem with the support groups is it's like you recycle over and over again the story of why you can't make the decision. And it becomes very, very difficult. And you're overthinking your decision and you're spinning over yourself, right? So I think that my encouragement to you is you've got to see that his defense mechanisms, he's not wanting help. I would want to get him to a place. This is where this is how it's affecting me. Are you willing to get help? You need to get a sense of that. And then kind of move from there. And that's where maybe recovery groups or things like that, support groups, can be helpful versus just kind of spinning in a limbo of how bad it is without having some direction. Is that making sense? I don't know if you were able to hear or if you were in the chat there.
I was a little bit of both, but go ahead.
No, it's the sense of like, her husband has OCD and he's defending it and he's very toxic and he's putting her down and she's asking me, do I need to separate? And she's saying, or do you have a support group? And I said, support groups, sometimes if you're just going in there, you're just recycling your story over and over again.
Right.
I said, sometimes you need like that heart-to-heart conversation of like, listen, this is what is manifesting from you. This is how it's affecting me. You need to get help. Are you willing to get help? And then kind of from there, there's your decision.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There needs to be tough conversations because usually there's already been years of loving responses from the spouse that's been tolerating. And that's where you need to find your voice. Yeah. And it's okay for a wife to say to a husband, enough.
Yeah.
This is what our home needs to look like. Do you want that with me? Mm-hmm. This is where you start having the tough conversations of, this is what we want to have going forward. Do you want this?
Yep.
And I think people are afraid to have those conversations, right? Because then it brings up having to make bigger decisions. And I know we're not saying that's easy. We're not just going, well, put the decision. We're not saying that. Right. It takes time to do all that. But boundaries and demanding respect and answers is okay.
That's right.
It's okay to do.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks. Any, while I have you, any questions that need to be addressed?
Well, let me look. Mm-hmm.
Especially down this line, it would be.
I know it would be good, right?
If not, I got another marriage question.
I don't have. Hold on, let me just make sure. I have to make sure to check everywhere. No, sir. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, because I think too that this in Christianity, when it comes to very, very toxic marriage issues, there's this thing hovering over of the divorce issue, right? And I've said this many times before, but what it does is it supersedes all the other sins that are going on. So like a husband acts in an ungodly, abusive manner towards his wife, does not love his wife as Christ loved the church, has a hardened heart towards his wife. But they didn't get a divorce, so somehow that's, you understand like the dissonance in our Christian logic. And how we place, divorce over that. Anyway, this isn't a divorce broadcast. But anyway, that's some of my feedback. These are because they're very challenging, very tough issues to walk through. I got another one here. It's a marriage where I believe her husband has become an atheist. Hello, Mark. My mental health journey has come a long way from years of mental anguish due to intrusive thoughts and mental OCD. In the worst years of it, my husband, who was a genuine believer all of his life, became an atheist. Now, just so you know, you don't just like become an atheist, But I get what you're saying. There's like movement towards that. There's a lot that goes towards that. This sent me on a terrible spin of mental and physical symptoms due to the stress. Yeah, I hear you. I would for me too. That's awful. I am now mostly past that. I don't know that you just get past that, but I'm mostly past that, but sometimes struggle with feeling the same respect for him and connection to him. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I would say, yeah, you're just past it. And I completely understand a struggle for respect and struggle for connection. You married a Christian man. And now all of a sudden that's changed. I mean, can you imagine the toll it would take on my wife if one day I was just like, all this God stuff, forget it?
Oh, no. How does that happen? I have questions.
So do I. But for the sake of time. That's
okay.
That's fine. Because it's like when somebody gets divorced, they don't just wake up and leave their spouse. Like if somebody says to their spouse, "Hey, I'm leaving." No, it didn't just happen then. There's a series of things emotionally that take place that lead to that.
Right.
Same thing with
a hard heart. It's a hard heart.
Yes. A hard heart doesn't happen.
Which I think is at the core of this.
Correct.
What's going on? That's when a heart gets shut off.
Yeah. I greatly miss our spiritual conversations, and we have to avoid a lot of topics now because of his 180-degree change in worldview. It's been 8 years of grappling with living in a different family reality than I expected. So what's interesting is that he's become a non-believer. Okay? But it doesn't seem like he's showing you respect. So not only has he turned his back on God, I feel like he's turning his back on you because he still has a responsibility as a husband to be loving and respectful to you. So even if he's not believing, he should be respectful of that. So this is like, there's a bunch of dominoes here happening of unloving, dishonoring behavior from his part. I so want to learn to face the reality with all the stress and still have a great marriage. Yeah, I feel like there's some I feel like there's some denial here of what you're dealing with. That you still want a great marriage, despite the fact that he's turned his back on God. And maybe I could see him go, but the reality is you turn your back on God, it's going to harden your heart and it's going to harden how you are to people. It's not going to make you more loving to people. So that flows down to you. So my concern is then you going, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to make this marriage right? What do I got to do? What do I got to do? And now this ungodly burden gets put. And it's like all these wives that are writing in to me, what do I need to do to make sure I'm doing what's right when the husband is creating all this burden that's being put on the home? You're like putting this stress. I shouldn't be stressed right now.
And listen, we've talked about, you brought this out last week about how, a wife can win a husband with her chase behavior and all that. Yeah. But this is not that scenario. And I'm sorry, but the weight of this is on the husband. Yeah. This burden should not be on the wife and what she needs to do to make this better or to live within the confines of what he's dictating over all this stuff. Yeah. No, your husband should be leading the home and loving you the way Christ loved the church. Yeah. That's the standard. Now, do we all have to maybe work on those things and what that looks like? Sure, but that's the foundation. Because
the abusive nature of this creates ungodly expectations here. And I'll show you what I mean. Because you say, I want to learn to face reality without all the stress. Like, no, you're not just going to make this stress go away. Mm-mm. This is not how it was meant to be, and it's stressful. And I want to still have a great marriage, even though we're unequally yoked. Oh. This is your expectation has been thrown in way out. At times, I feel like we can't go on as a family. Although when I come to my senses, I don't want that because we have 4 kids and we do love each other. It's kind of codependency talk.
Yeah,
too.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I come to my senses, when I feel better, when I'm out,
He's messed with her mind. He's messed with her mind. This is what happens. I'm sorry. I'm going to put it plainly. It makes the mind get a little spaghetti. It's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. A bit of,
We're saying it like it is,
a bit of spaghetti.
Yeah.
How do I become internally stronger? See the language?
Yeah.
How do I become stronger in this?
Oh, sister, it's not your burden to
be okay with leading my kids alone in the Christian way and not worry about them growing up with an unbelieving dad. No, they are growing up with an unbelieving dad.
Yeah.
It's the sobriety is like that's what you're up against.
It's like when an abusive wife stays with a husband and he's punched holes in the wall and she takes pictures and hangs a picture over the holes in the walls.
Yeah.
They're still there.
Yep. Very, very true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's take a break and
Okay.
we'll see where we go from there. But this is stuff we're passionate about, but it's like, I think that there's in making tough decisions, learning what love really looks like is important. And I think what I appreciate about recovery groups is they try to steer people towards what really love is. And as a Christian, we have the Word of God that shows us what love truly is.
Uh-huh.
And somehow we've like modified it, and it's been turned into something that it's not. Because in abusive marriages, you lose your sense of self, you lose your sense of love. You don't see there's no self-compassion, no self-love. You lose your sense of that. And it's like you said, the spaghetti goes on.
Exactly.
Now, the channel has gone where it's a woman and the husband's doing that. There's certainly many situations where it's reversed, but we do place a lot on the power a man has in his home. You can't get around that. Like and it's not this pressure of performing. It's showing up to my family to lead it as God is leading me. So I got to go to him and I got to bring that. It's a journey. And I didn't have it. I didn't have a model of it. I didn't have examples, and I wasn't taught.
Right.
So it's like somehow we as men have to dig deep. But meanwhile, I think many of the sisters then get caught in these codependency patterns, and we're just told them just soldier on and be good.
Right.
So, anyways,
which we've brought in this argument. That you've done a video on these things. If you think because you don't divorce,
right,
that you're somehow sparing your children by living in a toxic marriage because the kids are not dumb.
Right.
Like, yes, it's awful. It's all awful. Living in a dysfunctional marriage where two are not one is just as dysfunctional as divorce. The whole thing is dysfunctional when husband and wife are not operating as God designed.
Right.
It's all awful.
Yeah.
One is not worse than the other.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, for me, it's just not.
I have a sober sense in my heart. It's not a panic attack. It's just something that is a compass of respect. And I think that's part of the sobriety is I feel a sense of being held accountable to God and how I treat you.
Right.
You
take that very seriously.
Well, I'm very awake to it.
Right.
It doesn't like leave me like I lose sleep at night. But and I think I'm putting to language what like when the Bible talks about the fear of the Lord or a sense of I just do. And at times it can get obsessive compulsive. I've had to work at that where I'm like, oh, we've got this issue. We need to fix it right now. We need to have this talk right now.
Right. And I'm like, I'm good. I need a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, where I needed work on that. Like the shutdown is not good.
Right. We've
had to work on that.
We both had different responses.
Yes.
But I just, from day one, I would rather you and I be in a good place. And that takes a lot of work. I don't know how else to explain that. It takes a lot of time. I got to go, hey, we need to go on a date night. Hey, let's go for a walk. We need to talk.
You are strategic. You have been strategic from day one. And people, he wasn't given it.
No.
He grew up in a Bible-believing home, but he wasn't given how to do this. And he's had to fight. I've watched you in times where you have said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna get with God. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna do the things I need to do to figure this out.
Or ask questions, or try
questions.
to watch.
The tools are out there.
Yeah. Or try to watch somebody who seems like they're doing something. No one's perfect. No one's arrived. So don't look to leaders out there as like perfect people. Everyone's flawed, but look and kind of go, okay, that guy seems like he's doing something. And I'd watch and go, okay, he makes sense. He's putting words to some things. I made my value my home. So I think that's a big part of it. Because I think men get lost in their work. And that takes all their energy. So when they come home, they don't have anything.
Right. And I think too, when challenges come, when things go awry with your children, like, Max having autism, like things that completely break your heart and that could separate a husband and wife. And when you're dealing with grief, if your finances bottom out.
That's a big one for us.
Yes. We have had to go, instead of us going in our own corners to process things, being drawn back together. And I will say, you have been the catalyst for that. I did not grow up with that. My parents divorced. I did not grow up with that. I had a very, very, very toxic upbringing. I didn't know what to do, but I knew what I didn't want.
Right.
So I could easily, I shouldn't use the word easily because I had my years of struggle with you, of like the fighter in me. But when you earned that trust from me, you showed me what you were made of. It was easy for me to fall.
Yeah.
And be submissive to that.
Yeah. Yeah, because you had a fighter in you.
I did. I still do. I still do a little bottle.
No, it's a good fighter. I love it.
It's a good fighter.
So there's a thing that we saw on, I don't know, YouTube or Instagram. I think one of the talk shows was talking about it. And I'm like, is that really true? Where they say the average couple in America.
I sent you that. Mm-hmm.
The average couple in America spends 15 minutes a week talking about things other than maintenance things.
Right. Right.
Like that's
I believe that. You said to me, do you believe that? I said, absolutely, I do. I know people like this.
Maybe I'm just still in denial that it's there. Because I mean, it's there when I dig into marriages. It's there, but that the average American
talking
marriage,
about heart-connected things,
or just how you doing? How was your day?
Babe, I don't think people are doing that. Or they come in, yeah, how was work? Yeah, good, okay. I think most homes are passive.
And that's why when we go on our date nights and we sit there, we'll be there for a couple hours, and you'll go, hey, by the way, the couple that was there next to us, they never spoke the whole time we were here.
I know there's a lot of people like me. I'm a lunatic when we go out to eat. Mark will be talking to me, and I'm like, hold on. I'm taking in what's going on around us.
Yeah.
We went out to breakfast, and I am not even kidding. It was a packed restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like scanning.
Mm-hmm.
People are not talking.
Mm-hmm.
There was one table with like 4 or 5 people.
Never spoke.
It was a family. Mom and dad, 3 kids, teenage kids.
Yeah.
No one's talking.
Yeah.
Kids are on their phone. Mom's just like, this is the mom face.
Yeah. I wonder.
Just staring off. I would want to die.
I would wonder if they turned the music off in a restaurant. Would it be like deathly quiet? Because how much people are not talking.
Yes, I think so. I get stunned at how much husband and wives do not talk about matters of the heart. I think if they go through, well, we're not fighting.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the last time we talked, we fought, so I don't want to go there again.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I just want to acknowledge, somebody said here, they are concerned the wife in that email is going to receive blame for herself about the man becoming an atheist. It's not the wife's fault. I don't know where you got that in our conversation, because we are not saying that in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think she's saying that.
As a matter of fact, I'm going very hardcore about the husband, the weight on the husband, and biblically what's on the husband. But I agree with, babe, this whole thing about people not it's one of our biggest things. like we are trying to fight for it.
Yeah, that's how
really fight for it.
That's how you break the roommate syndrome.
Yes.
Is you learn to just talk. And this is not like tell me your deepest fears and your deepest pains. It's sometimes just simple as like just a little bit of like how the day is going, how things affect you. Being a listener.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about that. And I think because social media and technology is making us more, I'll be honest, I don't mean this in a condemning way. Social media and technology is making us a little bit lazier relationally and emotionally, right? You just, I can grab my phone, I can check things, I wonder if it'll also contribute to our emotional not putting the energy into it, right?
Right.
Because we get lulled into like not putting in effort.
Or maybe if you are like, there's all those jokes in Instagram that like you're laying in bed next to each other, sending each other memes. And so you're laughing, so you feel like you're interacting.
Right.
Right.
That's why we had to create the date night concept.
Which you're so good at that.
Well, I enjoy them. Yeah.
We feel so good when we go out and Mark and I talk all the time about everything. We probably over talk. People might be exhausted by us. But we still go, we need time to just, no kids, because every time we talk, someone comes and interrupts us.
That's our problem. That's our problem. The kids are
because we work
around
homeschool. Well, Abby's in school, but
they're around all the time.
We need to just look at each other in the eye. That's my next thing, okay? Husband and wives need to look each other in the eyes and talk. When you and I started doing that, we've talked about this before on the podcast, and you did this and I fought you, which it was tough for me, but you pushed for it. And I'm forever to this day grateful for it. We were in our condo, we're newly married, and we were going through the stuff we were going through and trying to be married and figure this all out and what is love to us and learning what love is, right? And you said, I think we should do this. We sat across from each other at a table, looked each other in the eyes, and we talked. We had to look each other in the eyes and pray for each other with our eyes open, looking at each other.
Yeah.
And that was
interesting.
I fought it so much. We would fight. I was like, I know it's coming.
Yeah. Because
I was uncomfortable with the intimate part of that. That's very intimate.
Yeah.
To be comfortable looking your spouse in the eye, praying for them with your eyes open, looking at them. You're looking into their soul. You can't just go,
it's connection time.
God help them.
Yeah.
And because that's what we do, right? I've asked people over the years when we were doing more counseling together back in Connecticut. Do you guys pray for each other? Yeah. What does that look like? Either across the room, heads down, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's horrible, but we were encouraging people because a lot of the time it's just head down, not looking at each other, and just simple prayers. Yes, that. Right. Right. And we want to see marriages flourish. That's how we're going to heal the land. We want to see marriage. What is the biggest gift you can give your kids? Watching their parents interact in that way and be loving and kind and comfortable with each other. That is the biggest thing that I want. I don't know if Max will get married, and you know what? We're praying for that. But for Abby, the example that she has of how she sees Mark interact with me, the comfortableness that we have with each other, the ease in which we can joke and be loving and kind and talk. And we tell them too, there are times when they come to interrupt and they have access to us whenever they want. However, sometimes it's like, wait a second, mom and dad have to talk. And they recognize the importance of a husband and wife connecting and talking.
Which has been a lot lately. Hey guys, can you hold on?
Yeah, true.
It's like, we need another date night tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is super important. And I think it's driven our decisions, even in some of the podcasts I was referring to and some discussion was having about decisions and things like that. One guy was talking about being in the music business and the toll it took on his wife, that they had to realize that him not being there, what it did. And I think there's a value shift taking place where it's like, we got to figure out how to make family a priority and actually be with each other without phones and tablets, where there's actual connection, actual conversation,
Yeah.
And so, like even I took a drive before we got in the live and it took from some of my prep time, which I like got to just give it to you because I had to run an errand. I took Abby with me because I wanted to talk to her about something, and we had a good conversation about it, And it's like when you do this though, there is a sacrifice, right?
Right.
Like you can't work that extra hour at the office, or you can't maybe do that. Those. Everyone has to kind of establish this is what I want, and I wanted a great marriage. And ironic, it was my most like debilitating battleground.
Right. Right.
So here's the thing. I think in a sense, me going, I gotta get help. It caused me to really learn how to love, grow in love, what a strong marriage actually is. I became a very tuned student.
You did.
Because I'm high in the learning. It's like if you took a soldier, threw them into the war zone and go, now I'm going to teach you how to use a gun. They're going to pay attention.
Right.
If they don't know how to use one.
Right.
Okay. Yep. Got it. They're not going to, wander off. It's like, I'm in this and and so it became such a passion. And yet I see, the suffering and struggles that's going on in marriages. So I pray
that we're passionate because we're fighting for it.
That's right.
I want to see, and any marriage can turn around if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Anyone can.
That's right. This is awesome, my love. I was gonna take a break, then we ended up having a great conversation, and this is awesome.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, if this was beneficial to you, could you let us know, comment, and be sure to click the like and subscribe button. You can support these broadcasts. You can click on the donate button at markdesus.com. It's greatly appreciated. Be sure to take advantage of the new books that are out. Myth of the Perfect One, of course, the OCD Healing Journey. There is a course Melissa and I did years ago called Marriage for Overcomers. That is available in the healing and freedom community. If you're like, you know what, I want to do this, and couples have reported back to me that they've gotten a lot out of it, and it has really blessed their journey. Well, this is great. Thanks, my love. It was great.
I loved it.
Great discussion. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
And I just appreciate it. And I love you.
Love you so much.
All right, y'all. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. This is your brother from another mother.
And your sister from another mister.
Saying we'll be back with more insights for your healing and freedom journey. In the meantime,
we out.